Hello friends! Today we're making watermelon macarons. I will teach you how to make the two different shapes, the watermelon slice and the regular round macaron shell. We will be using the Swiss method today. Also, I offer the option of two different fillings. One is the watermelon buttercream and the other is a watermelon ganache. I just love both so much I had to include them. If you like macaron recipes, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I post new videos every week. Alright, now let's get started. Place a bowl over a pan with barely simmering water. Add 100 grams of granulated sugar and add 100 grams of egg whites. Whisk for a couple of minutes until the sugar has completely melted. Be careful not to overheat the syrup. You can test if the sugar has melted by touching some of the syrup, and if you don't feel any sugar granules between your fingers, you can remove it from the heat. As you remove it from the heat, immediately start whisking with an electric mixer. You can use a hand mixer or a KitchenAid to do this. In some of my videos I'm using a hand mixer, and on this one I'm using my KitchenAid. Begin by whisking on low and then gradually increase the speed. And finish at high speed until you achieve stiff peaks. This is exactly what we're looking for, peaks that are shooting straight up. Now add the pre-measured dry ingredients to the meringue. You will need 105 grams of almond flour and 105 grams of powdered sugar. You can pre-sift the ingredients before you begin, or you can just sift them right into the meringue, but it's important that you leave them pre-measured. Now we're going to fold these ingredients until they just become incorporated, because we will divide the batter to make three different colors: light green, dark green, and the watermelon red. So as soon as you see no more streaks of dry ingredients, stop mixing immediately, because you don't want to overmix the batter. And then divide the batter equally into three different bowls. Work with one bowl at a time and keep the remaining ones covered so that they don't dry out. Let's start with the light green. Add a smidge of green food coloring to the batter and then do the macaronage, folding until the proper consistency. The batter should be flowing slowly and effortlessly off the spatula. Transfer the batter to a piping bag fitted with a 1/4 inch diameter round piping tip. Now let's move on to the dark green batter. Add some green food coloring and begin to fold. The folding time for the smaller amounts of batter will be less than folding the whole batter at once, so pay attention not to overmix. You may need to add more food coloring. Make sure to do so before the batter is ready so you don't end up mixing too much in order to incorporate the food coloring. Let's look over a couple more tips on how to tell if the batter is ready. If you hold a spatula full of batter over the bowl, even if the batter breaks up as it's falling off the spatula, it should still continue to flow. Once ready, transfer the dark green batter to a piping bag fitted with a 1/2 inch diameter piping tip. And now the watermelon red batter. I use this watermelon food coloring. You can use red food coloring as well. Add the food coloring and begin to fold until you achieve the perfect consistency. Once the batter is ready, transfer it to a piping bag fitted with a 1/4 inch piping tip. Let's begin by piping the round macarons first. Start with the dark green. Pipe a small amount of dark green batter on the center of each circle template. Then grab the light green batter and pipe a small amount directly on the center of the dark green batter. Now it's time to pipe the inside of the watermelon. Pipe the red batter over the light green batter, applying gentle pressure for a couple of seconds. I recommend doing one row of macarons at a time so the piped circles don't dry out, because then they can't get incorporated with the other color batters. Bang the tray against the counter to release any air bubbles, and use a toothpick to pop any air bubbles on the surface of the shells. Now let's move on to the watermelon slices. You can grab this printable template on my blog. Check the link below in the description. To pipe the slices, you're going to need very small round tips for all the batters. I recommend using a 1/4 inch diameter tip for the red parts and an 1/8 inch diameter tip for the green parts. When you're piping the red parts, don't pipe all the way to the edges of the triangle, but mostly in the center. Then you use a toothpick to spread the batter out to the outlines and to smooth it out. Then pipe a line of light green batter across the top of the watermelon slice. And pipe a line of dark green batter on top of the light green one. And use a toothpick to smooth out the edges of the watermelon slice. After the macarons are piped, they should rest for 20 to 40 minutes until the shells are dry to the touch. Then bake one tray at a time at 325 Fahrenheit for 12 to 18 minutes. The watermelon slices are going to bake faster. To test if the macarons are done baking, try to move one around and it shouldn't feel jiggly. That's when you know you can remove them from the oven. I used an edible ink marker to draw the watermelon seeds on the macaron shells. Let the ink dry for a while before filling the macarons. Now let's make the fillings. I'm giving you the option of 2 fillings. You can make both of them or you can make just one of them. The first one is a watermelon ganache and the second one is a watermelon buttercream. Let's begin with the watermelon ganache. I'm using watermelon syrup to flavor it. There are several different brands online. Add watermelon syrup to the heavy cream and heat it in the microwave at 15-second intervals until super hot. Be careful not to boil the cream. And you're going to need some good quality white chocolate. Pour the hot cream over the chocolate and whisk until the chocolate has melted. Then let the ganache sit until it cools completely. If you're in a rush, you can insert it in the fridge for about 30 minutes. Now let's make the watermelon buttercream. Cream the butter at medium speed in the bowl of an electric mixer for about 1 minute. With the mixer off, add the watermelon syrup and the powdered sugar. Beat the butter and the sugar together. And at this point, you will be able to tell if the buttercream needs liquid or not. You can add water or milk to make the buttercream smooth and creamy. Transfer the buttercream to a piping bag fitted with a tip of choice. I'm using a large open star tip. Once the ganache is firm and has a piping consistency, transfer it to a piping bag. and I recommend a small tip to fill in the watermelon slices. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Subscribe to my channel for more macaron videos. I also have over 70 macaron flavors and ideas on my blog, so make sure to check it out. Thanks for watching.